On the border of Pakistan and China, among the colossal peaks of the Karakoram Range, rises K2, the second highest mountain on Earth after Everest. Its height is 8,611 meters, 28,251 feet, but its reputation is far more terrifying. If Everest is a dream, K2 is the ultimate trial, a challenge thrown by the heavens themselves. They call it the Savage Mountain, because 1 out of every 4 climbers who attempted it has died. There are no crowds here, only wind, ice, and fear. K2 has the shape of a massive pyramid, with 4 steep walls rising almost vertically, snow cornices, ice towers, avalanches, and storms make it one of the most technical and dangerous mountains on the planet. Even in summer, temperatures can drop to minus 40 degrees Celsius, minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds reach 200 kilometers per hour, 125 miles per hour. Unlike Everest, there are no commercial routes or large Sherpa support. Here, every step is earned with sweat, pain, and risk. The first European to see K2 was Henry Haversham Godwin Austen in 1856. He marked the peak on the map, giving it the short and now legendary label, K2, the second mountain of the Karakoram. The first real attempt to climb it came in 1902, led by Oscar Eckenstein and Alberto Terranova. They spent more than 2 months on the glacier, without oxygen tanks, modern tents, or weather forecasts. After 68 days of struggle, they reached only 6,600 meters, beaten back by storms and illness. Between 1938 and 1953, several expeditions tried to find a safe route. All failed. Only in 1954, an Italian team led by Ardito Desio opened the classic route known as the Abruzzi Spur, still the main path to the summit today. On July 29, 1954, Achille Compagnoni and Lino Lacedelli reached the summit of K2 for the first time. Their success was historic, but controversial. A third climber, Walter Bonatti, survived a night at 8,100 meters without oxygen, barely alive. The climb begins not on the mountain, but on the road. To reach base camp, climbers must trek nearly 100 kilometers, 62 miles, across the Baltoro Glacier, one of the longest and most dangerous in the world. Underfoot lie crevasses as deep as buildings. By the time climbers first see K2's dark triangle on the horizon, most fall silent, realizing what lies ahead is not just a mountain, but the edge of human endurance. Base camp stands directly on the Godwin-Austen Glacier, which constantly shifts and cracks beneath the tents. At night, climbers can hear the ice groaning under them. They spend 10 to 14 days here acclimatizing, climbing up to Camp Achorn and back down, forcing their bodies to produce more red blood cells. Headaches, nausea, insomnia, and loss of appetite are common. Doctors say, if altitude sickness starts here, turn back. It only gets worse higher up Camp 6,065 meters, the Icefall Labyrinth. The route to camp passes through a maze of ice towers and crevasses, known as the Icefall. This section is nicknamed the Trap of Shadows. Sunlight touches it for only a few hours a day before everything sinks back into mist and cold. Every meter must be secured with ropes. Rockfalls are frequent, so climbers move before sunrise when the ice is still frozen. Is a small, uneven ledge where tents are pitched at dangerous angles. Climbers sleep sitting up tied to their ropes to avoid sliding off. Night temperatures fall to minus 25 degrees Celsius, minus 13 degrees Fahrenheit, and winds can tear a tent apart in seconds. But this is only the beginning. Camp 2, 6,700 meters, beneath the Black Pyramid. From Camp 1, a steep, icy couloir leads up to a vertical rock face called the Black Pyramid, one of the hardest sections on the entire route. Covered in ice, It forces even elite mountaineers to move only 50 meters per hour. There's no shelter here. Rockfall and avalanches are constant threats. In 2008, a massive serac collapsed between camps 2 and 3, destroying fixed ropes and wiping out an entire section of the route. Several climbers were swept away. It became one of the deadliest incidents in K2's history. At Camp 2, climbers spend 2 to 3 days acclimatizing, drying gear, and preparing oxygen bottles for higher camps. Here, the air holds only half the normal oxygen level. Every heartbeat feels like a sprint. Camp 3, 7,300 meters. The gateway to the death corridor. The path to Camp 3 climbs nearly vertical ice. Climbers pass the house chimney and the Black Pyramid, both infamous for their difficulty. The house chimney is a 30-meter vertical crack in the rock, climbed in full gear with heavy backpacks and oxygen tanks. It's a pure test of will, every move a battle with cold, fear, and exhaustion. Temperatures here drop to minus 40 degrees Celsius, minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The air is so dry it cracks skin and lips. Hallucinations are common. The body no longer recovers. Altitude sickness becomes deadly. Brain or lung edema can develop in hours. Even resting feels like suffocating. Camp 4, 7,900 meters. The shoulder of K2. This place is called the Shoulder, a massive icy plateau that seems calm but hides lethal winds reaching 120 kilometers per hour, 75 miles per hour. At this altitude, sleep is impossible. Climbers close their eyes for minutes at a time, gasping through oxygen masks. Food no longer digests. The stomach shuts down. Before the summit push, every piece of gear is checked. Oxygen, ropes, anchors. A single mistake here means death. The climb to the top begins around midnight, under moonlight or stars, because in daylight, melting ice in the bottleneck unleashes falling seracs. Death raining from above. The Bottleneck, the most terrifying place on Earth. This is the final trap of K2, a narrow couloir beneath an overhanging serac, a massive block of ice towering dozens of meters high, capable of collapsing at any second. Here, climbers move one by one, clipped to a single rope. Beneath them, a mile of empty air. In 2008, the greatest tragedy in K2's history unfolded right here. A chunk of ice broke off, tearing away the fixed ropes, and 11 climbers from different countries died in a single night. Some froze standing, others simply fell into the abyss. Beyond the bottleneck lies the final section, the summit ridge, a razor-sharp crest with room for only one step at a time. Every movement here is driven by instinct. One wrong step, and a climber vanishes into the black void of the Karakoram. The summit, 8,611 meters. The end and the beginning of fear. Those who reach the summit see no triumph, only silence. The wind tears the flags, and the horizon fades into a dark, almost black blue. There are no shouts of victory, only a few quick photos and a single thought: down. Since 1939, more than 90 climbers have died on K2, most during the descent. In 1986, a terrible storm killed 13 climbers, including the legendary Wanda Rutkiewicz, the first woman to summit Everest. Her body was never found. In 1995, British mountaineer Alison Hargreaves, who had climbed all the highest peaks of Europe, was swept away by hurricane-force winds. She vanished into the abyss. In 2008, tragedy struck again. 11 climbers from different countries died after a serac collapse in the bottleneck. Some bodies still hang from their ropes. That night became known as the ice apocalypse. Most climbers die on the way down. After 20 hours without oxygen, the body simply stops responding. Exhausted climbers collapse even while clipped into fixed lines. Vision blurs, the brain shuts down, Hypothermia sets in, and the wind knocks people off their feet. Every step downward is a fight for survival. In 2021, Pakistani climber Muhammad Ali Sadpara disappeared during descent after a historic winter ascent. His body was found 6 months later. He became a national hero, a symbol of a mountain that forgives no one, not even its own children. Despite the danger, dozens of expeditions still attempt K2 each year. But unlike Everest, there are no crowds, no guided queues, no luxury tents. K2 remains the last bastion of true, raw alpinism. In July 2022, a Nepali-Pakistani team made a record ascent without oxygen. One climber said after returning, "On K2, you don't conquer anything. If you return alive, it's because the mountain allowed you to leave." If you love stories of mountains that test the limits of human nature, subscribe. Next up, Annapurna, the deadliest peak on Earth.